Matt, can you please repeat this piece with Thomson Fontaine? All right. Your wish is my command. This morning I'm going to repeat this expose done by the leader of the United Workers' Party, of course, Dr. Thomson Fontaine, who holds a doctor or PhD in financial economics. Listen and listen well. Drink your cocoa tea, your bush tea, your chocolate, whatever you choose this morning. This is what you'll hear for the next few minutes. What's happened?
A rather interesting turn, Matt, and I would ask all Dominicans who are listening to take a seat and just make themselves comfortable for the next few minutes as we go through this. I've been reading it with my own eyes, and I still cannot believe it, but I've been reading. And I tell you, I have a PhD in financial economics. I think I understand these issues. It's been over 25 years since I got my PhD in financial economics, and I have a wealth of experience in that area. But what I'm reading today is mind-boggling. So let me tell you what's going on. The story of Justin Sun is not a simple one. And there was a major article in the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal, for Dominicans who do not know, is the leading financial newspaper in the world. There is nothing more prestigious or well known than the Wall Street Journal. In addition to the Wall Street Journal, practically every single financial paper in Asia has the story of Justin Sun today. And why do they have this story? Well, it has to do with Dominica, and it has to do with a company that Justin Sun owns called, it is, and I'll spell it for you, it is HUOBI. So that's the company. Okay? So let's take it very, very slowly. You have the company that Justin Sun owns, and you heard the Sun is attempting to revise the fortunes of digital asset exchange UB by shifting its focus back to China with the aid of a digital citizenship
muted.
and China, despite a ban on crypto trading in the mainland that forced the UV to stop accepting business from them. Okay, so let me explain what you just heard. Mr. Sun, who sells himself as an advisor to UV, if UV for some strange reason does not have a CEO or chief financial officer and so on, but he puts himself as the advisor, but he has effectively bought over this company. That is a cryptocurrency company called UV. And UV is in fact owned by Justin Sun. And Justin Sun, we learned, I think late last year, that the Prime Minister of Dominica had agreed for Justin Sun to do a Dominica token. That's what he was told at the time. But it is not just a Dominica token. This particular token, it is called the Dominica Digital ID. Dominica Digital ID. It allows persons who have this digital ID to own a Dominica passport. So there are two aspects to it. The owning of a Dominica passport as one, and the other aspect has to do with the Chinese event. So let's talk first about the Chinese. In September of 2021, Hobby was a firm in China. It was established in China, set up in China, along with several other cryptocurrency firms. Because if you want to deal in cryptocurrency, you have to apply to one of those firms. They are called platforms, cryptocurrency platforms. That's the term that's used. So Yubo was one of those. However, in September of 2021, the government of China shut down every single transaction in cryptocurrency. It banned all of those businesses. So a number of those businesses, they took off from China. They sort of set up in Hong Kong and other areas around the world. Now, at the time, the Chinese government indicated that they were doing this for two main reasons. One, the role of cryptocurrencies in facilitating financial crime. And secondly, cryptocurrencies pose a risk to China's financial system. These were the two major reasons they gave. But in addition to that, millions of Chinese had already suffered at the hands of those companies by losing their investment. So that was another reason why they took action. So Yubo is now out of China. So the son, with his clearly apparently criminal mind, now hatches a plan with Dominica to go around the ban that has been placed on Chinese citizens by the Chinese government. So that is what is at stake there. And I will repeat it. Yubo and Justin's son, together with the Prime Minister of Dominica, has hatched a plan for Chinese citizens to go around the ban that has been placed by the government against cryptocurrencies. Are you still with me, Matt?
I'm here. Amazed, yes. I'm still with you.
Okay. So that is one aspect of it. Okay. And then how does that work? Well, quite simply, as any individual, you can download an app. In fact, the app is there online, the Yubo app. You simply download the app, and in 5 simple steps, you can obtain a digital ID and move on to level 3, where you obtain a Dominica passport to back it up. And the way the people in China, and that's why he's focusing on China, is that the persons in China who now want to access the cryptocurrency market, they will simply use their Dominica ID. They no longer have to use their passport from China. They use their Dominica digital ID. So they can go on any platform in the world now and trade in cryptocurrencies, basically going around the ban that has been placed by the government. So in that same article, a gentleman by the name of Ben Chowangwa, an assistant professor in finance at the National University of Singapore, said that the Dominican Digital Citizenship Program could help Chinese nationals who want to trade cryptocurrencies evade the reach of regulators in the country. Quote, it is easier when you don't show up as a Chinese citizen. You're out of the Chinese financial system, he said. Okay, so that is clearly the aim of this relationship that Son has built with the government of Dominica. It has nothing to do with helping Dominica. And we would need to ask the Prime Minister of Dominica, how much is Dominica making from the sale of those digital IDs? How much is he charging a passport? Because in the process that Yube defines online, in the 5-step process, it's very easy. You download the app. Number 2, once you have the latest version, you click on DMC. From there, you click on the apply for level 1 Dominica citizenship button. Number 4, you click on continue with your level 2 verification. So it allows you as an individual to do your own verification. So you don't have nothing about double checking, to see who the people are and so on. You verify yourself online, and with that verification, you are good to go. You can then apply, you get a digital ID, you can then apply for a Dominica passport, and even before getting the passport, if you now want to trade in cryptocurrencies, you can do so outside of the reach of the Chinese government.
Very interesting, Thomson. What a twist! What a twist! And the Prime Minister is keeping all of this from the Dominican citizens.
Now, this is the biggest crime, I think, and you have to consider that a crime. You cannot engage in this and fool the Dominican public, tell the Dominican public that, oh, it is just a fan token. Okay, because when we first heard about it, we were told that it was a fan token that was being issued. So if you want to become a Dominica fan, you just go online, you click, and then you become a Dominica fan. That was the impression that Dominicans were given. We were not told that Justin Sun is now authorized to sell Dominican citizenship at whatever price that he chooses. We are not told how this money is going to go back. We are not told how the proceeds of those that's coming from those sales, how they will be used. Because let me explain something to the Dominican public. The way these cryptocurrencies work, and there was a thing yesterday, I believe it was from Brian, when he asked about the role of the regular banking system. For you to trade in cryptocurrencies, you have to go through a platform, some platform, okay? Like what they call a blockchain platform, where you open a digital wallet. So that digital wallet, you can then trade in cryptocurrencies. Now, the owners of those wallets, all right? So, for example, if, let's say, I decided I'm in Dominica or the US and I want to invest in cryptocurrencies, I would go to these platforms. I would have to take money from my bank and transfer to this platform. But then those platforms are owned by individuals or by companies. So these companies, they have their own bank accounts. Okay? So I would just transfer the money from my bank into that company's bank account. And in exchange, they would deposit in my digital wallet the amount of cryptocurrencies or the equivalent of cryptocurrencies. So that's how that works. So the banking system is not directly involved, except for some banks. For example, the bank that went under, the Signature Bank, it had a separate division that was dealing in cryptocurrencies. It was called the Signet platform. And what they had, they made it easier for persons who wanted to deal. They could deal directly with they could interface with their digital wallet directly. So that's a separate issue. But for the most part, the banking system does not get involved except when they're transferring money, either into your wallet or out of wallet. So if, for example, you have cryptocurrencies in your wallet, like Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency or Tron or whatever it is, you want to sell it, then you would then have to go back to your bank to make the transfers back into your bank from that. Okay? But the bank is not involved. So I'm saying this to make the point that by using this particular platform, who knows what's going to happen there? And as I said, that is a direct affront to the Chinese government. And the Wall Street Journal, what they did was when they did their research, they went back to the Chinese, because they saw that as a threat to the Chinese ban on cryptocurrencies. They went back to the Chinese government and they asked them, what does that mean? What does that relationship between Dominica and Son mean for the Chinese ban on cryptocurrencies? And in response to the questions posed by the Wall Street Journal, the Chinese government indicated that they have not changed their attitude towards cryptocurrencies or the activities that are linked to it, and that overseas exchanges like opening are strictly prohibited from providing trading and other services to the people of that country. And it says, quote, the bank says, or the Chinese government indicates, quotely, that they will promptly deal with domestic and foreign trade platforms that provide virtual currency-related services to residents in China. Okay, so they're still going to deal with the people, but the problem is, and what uniquely this relationship does with the name of Dominica, with the passport of Dominica, with a digital ID from Dominica, that identifies you not as a Chinese citizen, but as a Dominican citizen, is that Chinese citizens with the means can now easily trade cryptocurrencies, and they can continue to undermine the Chinese financial system as they see fit.
And the Chinese themselves will take action.
The Chinese will take action if they can trace the transaction, and that's where the problem is. Bear in mind, these platforms are not regulated. Okay, these platforms, no one knows who owns them. They operate in the deep part of the web. And Prime Minister Kerry said it is Web 3.0. Prime Minister Kerry said we are moving from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. Well, in Web 3.0, you were able to hide transactions from the authorities, and a Chinese citizen who now has a Dominica passport can easily transfer money now into that platform, can easily transfer money out of China into that platform, by not identifying themselves as Chinese, but as Dominican. And that is the real thing. That is what this brilliant son, who, by the way, is 32 years of age, that is what he has realized. And he's taking our Prime Minister along for a ride. And the Prime Minister does not understand what he's gotten himself into. And that is the reason why the U.S. government is cracking down on cryptocurrencies. Let me just add one other thing, man. This bank I talked about, the signature bank that was shut down, it had the cryptocurrency section. The regulators in the United States have refused to sell that. They look like they want to shut it down because they view in the United States, they view the cryptocurrency market as a threat for all the reasons that we talked about before. It is not regulated. You can perform a transaction. For example, man, in a normal banking system, any transfer that is made, there is a record of it. If in the United States, if you withdraw more than $10,000, if you make a transfer of $10,000, the bank must report that to the regulators. They have to report it. They're obligated to. Okay? So every transaction above a certain amount, if it's $10,000, is recorded. There is a trace, who sent it, when it was sent, to whom it was sent, and so on. With the cryptocurrency market, you don't have those controls because nobody is looking over it. You're just moving money in and out of your digital wallet. You could be on there as John Wu from China or Jason Francis from Dominica, the same person, and the authorities would not know. Okay, so that is the danger of the cryptocurrency market. As I said, notwithstanding the other obvious problems that people have had in terms of losing money, in terms of the kinds of behaviors that we saw some do to artificially inflate the price of the currency and so on. So we have a serious problem in Dominica. And I would like to ask the Prime Minister as well, how much money did he make personally from that deal with SARS? How much did this son
You think he might have benefited personally from that deal, huh?
I am asking the question. I'm asking the question of the Prime Minister. How much did he benefit from it? How much did he get as part of that deal? Because bear in mind, Justin's son is an individual man. Because he has been defrauding customers, it's easy money for him. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars by defrauding people. He actually paid $4.6 million to have lunch with Warren Buffett, one of the more seasoned and most respected investors on Wall Street. He paid $4.6 million to have lunch with him. That's a man who, 32 years old, and thinking money has become extremely rich. He has, by his own admission, Matt, he has passports from St. Kitts and Nevis, from Malta, from Grenada, and from Guinea-Bissau. I can only assume that he also has a passport in Dominica. I do not know that for certain, but the fact that he has all of those passports tells me, and given that he's now making sick money, even sicker money, even a lot more money, because today, to the Chinese...
And we don't know how much he's receiving for a Dominican passport.
Sorry?
I said, and we don't know just how much he's receiving on the Dominican passport.
Right, we don't know. We absolutely don't know how much he's receiving for those passports. So this man is in a position to make millions and millions and millions of dollars on the backs of Dominicans. We are not going to benefit from it. The money will probably reside somewhere in the metaverse. If you are the Prime Minister of the metaverse, he probably knows what that is. It will reside somewhere in the metaverse. And people will be taking us for a ride. But for the Chinese people with money, who want to use their money to speculate and to make money through the cryptocurrencies, that's a great opportunity for them. They will jump at it. China has over 1 billion people, 1.4 billion people. So if only 400 million people, 128 in this, you can imagine. You can imagine the kind of money that this guy stands to make, you know, and what's in it for Dominica. So that's why I think the Prime Minister needs to answer these three questions. Firstly, how much did he make personally out of this bill? Secondly, how much is being charged for this digital IDs that are being issued on behalf of Dominica? Because that's what it is. And third, how much is being charged for the passports that have been given to persons who now own the digital ID? It's a question that the Prime Minister of Dominica needs to answer for the Dominican public.
I know the Prime Minister seemed a little desperate to raise money for building this international airport. That might be a reason.
But how is it coming back? Where is the supervision? How does he know how much? What you know? How does he know how much is being made out of those passports? You know, I mean, yeah, you now have a brand new market, the Chinese market. Obviously, Chinese who will want to take it on and reap. If they're caught, they'll be dealt with severely by the authorities. But I think they'll be sufficiently assured that with the security that is provided by these online platforms, they will not be found out. And so it's quite likely that hundreds of thousands of Chinese will jump to this. Because then at the back of all of this is the ability to make money. People have been able to make money off this cryptocurrency. The same way people have failed and lost their shirts, people have made money from it. So there is an opportunity. And if you have a lot of money to spare, to throw around, that is something you want to engage in. So there is that active demand for this, and then you throw on top of that the ability to get a passport. Because the key advertisement that Sun is using for this is to say that in addition to the digital ID, you now have access to a passport that allows you to travel to 120 countries visa-free, including the United Kingdom and the European Union. So he's selling that as part of his major attraction to the Dominican people, to the Chinese people. But my concern is the name of Dominica now being completely and totally associated with a scheme to go against the interests of the Chinese government. And since there's a Chinese embassy in Dominica, and I'm sure they're listening, Matt, I think it might be a good question to pose to the Chinese ambassador what they think of Dominica trying to subvert their financial system. So it's a good question to ask the Chinese government, the Chinese embassy in Dominica. What do they think of this latest attempt by Prime Minister Kerry to join with Justin Sun to subvert the system, the financial system of China?
Basically, to undermine the financial system.
Yeah.
I'm saying basically to undermine the financial system in China.
Absolutely. They have banned the cryptocurrencies in their own interest. They said that it would undermine the financial system. So why do you now create an avenue or an opening for people to go around it, Chinese people to go around it? I just don't get it. What is it? What's going in the mind? What's going through the mind of this of our Prime Minister? Is it that he been so callous and so greedy that now he has lost all sense of reason?
Now I'm understanding, Thomson, more than anything else, why the Prime Minister said don't pay attention to Thomson Fontaine at the news conference yesterday.
Exactly, man. But the Prime Minister should know, as I said, over 25 years, PhD in financial economics. I taught graduate students in financial economics at the University of Maryland and Clemson University. So, I think I understand this area as much as anybody can. But I'll tell you what, if you read, and as Dominicans go online to search Google and so on, when you read this, when you read what they have online, if you don't know finance, there's no way you can understand what they say. Even me with my training experience in finance and financial economics, it takes me sometimes to read it 2 or 3 times to understand what they're trying to say, and it's deliberately so. Okay, they're trying to confuse people because what this cryptocurrency market has done very successfully is that it has played upon people's greed. Okay, because you can make quick money. For example, persons who got into Bitcoin came online in 2009. Persons who bought very early on, probably bought Bitcoin at less than $25 US dollars. It's now over $19,000. Yeah, so there is that greed element to it. So people, they just want to know that and not being able to differentiate between say Bitcoin and electronics or the others that Justin Sun is selling. Just believe that all blockchain, all cryptocurrencies are in the same group, and they can make money off of it. So they deliberately write in language to confuse and to hide their real intent. So,
a local, of course, somebody's reacting already, asking the question, Mark, what will happen now, from now, as to what, with this man talking about son and spirit after all of this investigation? Where can that lead? Where can that go?
Well, Matt, what will happen? Well, there are two things. Son is already he's already been indicted in the U.S. It's a civil lawsuit that the Securities and Exchange Commission has brought against them, and they're asking, their prayer for relief is that he be banned from trading in currencies in the U.S. He does not live in the United States. He lives most likely in Singapore currently. What will most likely happen is that the Chinese government is not going to pay a lot closer interest to Dominica and what is going on. Okay, because bear in mind, their citizens have been targeted directly. The very same persons that they say, we do not want you to engage in cryptocurrency transactions. It is not good for the country. It is not good for you. It is not good for our currency. It is not good for our financial system. So we do not want you to trade in it. The very same government that has issued that ban, officially banning cryptocurrencies, now have a new challenge on their hands. How are they going to identify the Chinese citizens who now have Dominican passports who are going to be trading in cryptocurrencies against their wishes? Because at the end of the day, this money is going to come out of China. So they must be thinking now, how are they going to do it? And I would not be surprised if at some point Justin Sun is charged criminally. So far, he has not been charged criminally. In fact, he was in China in 2017 when they first started talking about cryptocurrencies, and he made his escape. He left China for fear of being arrested. So there is a very good chance that he may be arrested. And the question is, if Justin Sun is arrested for these activities, whether or not the Prime Minister, who is enabling him by effectively giving him the use of the name of Dominica, that's what he's done. He's put a stamp of approval. Dominica is now there as what you can aspire to or what you can gain. Whether or not the Prime Minister will also be similarly charged, and that's a question that has to be asked. But I am pretty sure the Chinese government is not going to take this sitting down. They're going to take this lightly. Cryptocurrencies, by its very nature, is a threat to them, and they'll do everything that they can to protect the financial system.
Dr. Thomson Fontaine, a lot to digest this morning there. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the people of Dominica.